for sticking with us here on KXAN Live. Will Dupree coming to you again from the KXAN Live studio. We go now live to a news conference that's underway at Allen City Hall. The Texas Department of Public Safety is providing an update about that deadly shooting that happened at an outlet mall this past Saturday. 8 people died and several more were injured. Let's listen in as that news conference gets underway.
Department. Then we will have Special Agent in charge of the Federal Bureau of Investigation, Chad Yarbrough, and then summarizing things at the end will be our Regional Director, Hank Sibley, with the Texas Department of Public Safety, before we begin our Spanish translation.
Thank you. Well, when this community was attacked on May 6th, the Allen Police Department responded along with many others from the North Texas law enforcement community. That included both police and fire. Our community also responded with an overwhelming show of support for the victims' families, and public safety, and we are grateful and thank you. One particular officer distinguished himself in an exemplary manner, demonstrating tremendous bravery when he immediately addressed an attacker that was injuring and murdering innocent victims. We know our community would like to thank and honor him. However, we're not prepared to release that officer's name due to the ongoing investigation. And the officer has also expressed his appreciation for his privacy as he continues to process this tragic event. There were many other heroic, life-saving efforts conducted by our officers and the fire department. We plan to recognize them in the future, and we also must acknowledge the bravery of Allied Security Guard Christian LaCour, who evacuated one individual to safety and was shot while courageously remaining to help others. The immediate support of multiple local, county, state, and federal agencies is so numerous, it will be challenging to thank each one individually. Each one of them was critical to the safe evacuation of the site and stabilization efforts. Thanks to the swift assistance of all these agencies, we have now officially concluded the actions at the Allen Premium Outlets and turned the site back over to property management. The reopening of the stores at the outlets will be determined by management and store owners. We know our Allen community and many, many others are feeling the deep weight of grief from this tragedy, and we are heartbroken over the 8 victims that were lost, the others who were wounded, and the hundreds of people who experienced this traumatic event firsthand. Members of our department and victim services units from the FBI, Department of Public Safety, and the Collin County District Attorney's Office will continue to work closely with members of our community who are requesting victims and/or mental health services. In the coming days, members of the police department will continue to work closely with the FBI, DPS, and Texas Rangers to thoroughly investigate this tragedy. We have relied heavily on the agencies here today, the Department of Public Safety, the Texas Rangers, and the Federal Bureau of Investigation. My request to you today, as the media, is to continue to help publicize our Victim Counseling and Family Assistance Fund. Those 2 opportunities that can make a tremendous difference in these individuals' lives, and it is listed on the Allen City website. At this time, I'd like to turn it over to the FBI Special Agent in charge, Chad Yarbrough. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Chad Yarbrough. I'm the Special Agent in charge of the Dallas FBI Field Office. First and foremost, on behalf of the FBI, I want to begin by expressing my deepest condolences to the victims, to the families and loved ones of those murdered and injured in this vicious attack this past Saturday at the Allen Premium Outlets. We recognize the fear and heartache that occurs when heinous acts of violence are committed, and the devastating impact it has on the people and the community. Since our arrival to the scene on Saturday, the FBI has devoted significant resources to assist in the investigation of what occurred in Allen. Those resources include investigative personnel, intelligence, digital forensics, and victim services, just to name a few. The FBI is currently analyzing electronic devices and digital media connected to the suspect at our North Texas Regional Computer Forensic Laboratory. There's still a lot to be done in this investigation, and we will continue to thoroughly review this material and share with the investigative team. The FBI's Victim Services Response Team has been deployed with over 20 specially trained personnel to work and collaborate alongside the Allen Police Department, the Texas Department of Public Safety's Victim Services, and the Collin County District Attorney's Office, as well as other state and community organizations to provide essential support and assistance to those impacted by this unimaginable tragedy. Strong, well-established relationships with our law enforcement partners and community members have been indispensable to this response and investigation, and we cannot thank our partners enough for their steadfast commitment and unyielding efforts to help others. As of yesterday, the Victim Services Team and community partners have been able to provide resources and services to over 30 families, which consists to over 100 individuals. And over the past 2 days, FBI personnel and community partners have escorted close to 1,100 people to retrieve their abandoned vehicles in the parking lots in the vicinity of the shooting. If you were present on Saturday at the Allen Premium Outlets, we encourage you to visit the Family Assistance Center at the Allen Senior Recreational Center at 451 St. Mary Drive here in Allen. In addition, personal effects that were left outside the retail stores have been collected and can also be retrieved at this location. It will be open today and tomorrow from 10 a.m. until 7 p.m. Victims are not just those who are physically injured, but also those who were present and may be experiencing emotional distress. We ask that you continue to respect the privacy of the victims affected by this tragedy. We are aware of multiple fake online fundraisers that are currently underway for the victims. Please properly vet any charity or fundraiser before donating money to ensure that it reaches the proper victims. And there's a list of those properly vetted charities on the Allen website. We are also still seeking information from the public. If you are at the Allen Premium Outlets and have information, we ask that you please call 1-800-CALL-FBI. Our focus in the coming days will continue to be providing aid and comfort to our victims, as well as working with our law enforcement partners on the criminal investigation that is ongoing. Our thoughts and prayers continue to be with all those who have been so severely impacted by this terrible tragedy. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Hank Sibley. I am the North Texas Regional Director for the Texas Department of Public Safety. First, I'd like to express the condolences on the part of the state of Texas and the men and women of the Texas Department of Public Safety for the loss of the victims that died in that horrific crime that occurred at the Allen Outlet Mall on Saturday. We cannot begin to fathom the pain and the time it will take to recover from this, but our prayers are with you. I would also like to commend the response on Saturday. The response to the mall shooting was stellar. We are so blessed that an Allen police officer who took the appropriate action did what he did when he did it. He undoubtedly saved countless lives. If he hadn't been there, I think we'd had a much more severe situation. On top of that, the agencies that responded, the local agencies, sheriff's office, other PDs, the fire department, everybody did what they were supposed to do and responded to the scene. From the DPS perspective, we had Texas Highway Patrol troopers on the scene within minutes. We dispatched our Texas Rangers to assist with the shooting investigation, and ultimately the Rangers have taken over the lead in the investigation. In addition, we had our SRT teams, aircraft, and now to this point we have our victim services counselors on the ground. I will tell you that Governor Abbott, through my director, Steve McCraw, reached out immediately and said, whatever needs to be done to support the city of Allen in this horrific time, to do it. All state resources have been committed to this effort. The Texas Rangers have been tasked and been put in lead in this investigation. It's a very large crime scene, very complex investigation spanning multiple jurisdictions. And the Rangers, along with the local law enforcement agency, Allen PD, and our federal partners, particularly FBI and ATF, are working hand in hand to get the answers. You know, many of the answers are still away from getting to, but some things we do know. We have processed the crime scene. As the chief was saying, and the SAC was saying, we've released the parking lot, 1,100 vehicles. I mean, it was a big scene. We had to clear it. We've done it in pretty record time. If you think about it, you're only talking less than 72 hours ago this event was occurring. And to be this far down the road, I think, is very commendable on the part of all the parties involved. The cooperation between the agencies has been exceptional, and I think it's a model for the way things should be done in the future. One thing that we do know is after we've identified the shooter, and his name has been made public, he's from the Dallas area, so the FBI, Dallas PD assisted. We ran warrants down on his residence, his actual parents' house, and I believe hotel residence, to see what evidence we could glean from that. The FBI has his computers, cell phones, and other evidence, and they're in the process of trying to do digital forensics, as the SAC mentioned, to go ahead and ascertain what type of evidence we can get off of that. The shooter had no CCH, no criminal history, so he had no documentable criminal history on him. He was in the U.S. Army, and that's been posted on the media, in 2008. He was in basic training. I think early on in basic training they realized, from what I've seen, that he was not a fit for the Army, and so they separated him from the Army, before he got out of the training mode. There were some questions, about his fitness for duty. That information will be forthcoming later on as we dig into the investigation. He also had a private security license in the state of Texas. Again, he had no criminal history, and the license has expired. I understand he worked as a security guard for several firms, but he was not an active security guard at the time of this. He had 8 weapons with him. He had 3 on his person, and he had 5 in his vehicle. The Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms has run traces on all the weapons. All of the weapons were legally obtained by the shooter. None of them were stolen, anything else. And now we're running checks on them to see if they were using any crimes. But at this time, we haven't uncovered anything in that regard. The big question that we're dealing with right now is, what's his motive? Why did he do this? Well, the big question is, we don't know. That's what the investigation is trying to find out. We do know that he had neo-Nazi ideation. He had patches, he had tattoos, even his signature, verified that. That's one thing we do know. We are trying to get into his computer and on social media and find out, whether he had anything that he'd publicized or been out. We're looking around, we're seeing trying to find what he looked at, and trying to get every information we can. This is the ongoing part of the investigation, and we have a situation that once we figure that out, hopefully we figure that out and get definitive about it, we can go public with that down the road. To me, it looks like he targeted the location rather than a specific group of people. He was very random in the people he killed. It didn't matter the age, seemed race or sex. He just shot people, and which is horrific in itself. As I said before, the investigation is ongoing. The Texas Rangers, FBI, ATF, and Allen PD, as well as any other agencies assisting us, are going to leave no stone unturned to try to identify this motive and try to find out whatever we can. At this time, we think he acted alone. There's no indication he had any Confederates or anybody working with him, but we're also keeping an open mind in that regard too, because you never know. As the FBI SAC mentioned, our victim services, the state of Texas Victim Services, working hand in hand with the city of Allen and the FBI to try to assist these victims to get on the road to getting their lives back to normal. So we're doing what we can, and the information that you need to contact is there. There's also, the state of Texas has a crimes victim compensation fund, and we're also trying to plug the victims into that to help them get their lives right. Okay, with that, that's all I'm going to brief on right now. Again, the investigation is ongoing, but I will take a couple of questions.
Would you consider this an act of domestic terrorism, considering his racist ideology?
Well, it's too early to say that for sure. Obviously, circumstantially, you might say something like that, but we need to get more into his ideology, get into his social media, and see more than we have.
Can you confirm that there is a website out there that he has posted the pictures of him with the swastika tattoo and some of his notes and his ideology?
I know there's a website out there. I haven't personally seen it. I know the FBI and the Texas Rangers are looking into that, and that's another part of the investigation we're looking at.
Rick, can I ask if at this point there's been any kind of manifesto or anything like that that you have found
Not to my knowledge.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
You understand that he works in private security gigs before. Did he ever work at the Allen Premium Outlet?
Not to my knowledge. I don't have the name of the companies he worked for, and I don't know if he worked at that location. He hasn't worked in the security business for a while.
But we don't know, you know for sure he did not.
I do not know 100% where he worked.
Yes, sir.
Have you been able to build a timeline of how long the event lasted, and whether or not all of the victims were being shot by this suspect?
So I believe the event was like 3 to 4 minutes from the time that the first shots were fired. I think it was 3:37 or something like that. And we're looking at, I think within 3 or 4 minutes, the Allen PD officer had neutralized the suspect, and the shooting stopped. And there's no indication anybody else was shooting besides him and the officer.
Given what he was posting on social media, was he on law enforcement's radar at all?
Not to my knowledge.
Last question, and we'll defer to.
Matt Douglas, ABC News. I think I'm probably echoing the public here. Is there any way that you think you can protect the public from the next mass shooting if anyone, suspect like this man, who we know was discharged from the military over mental health concerns, can go out and purchase an armload of firearms?
Well, that's a very difficult question. And
That's the one everybody's asking.
he was in the military in 2008, and the reporting requirements were a lot different back then than they are now. And even if he couldn't have purchased these firearms legally, he probably could have obtained them illegally or used some other vehicle, literally a vehicle, to perpetrate something similar. You know, it's when you have people with mental illness, if it turns out that this gentleman has that, when you have that situation, they will find a way. So,
Make your job harder?
sometimes, yes.
Sir, are you saying that he could not have gone into a licensed dealer and purchased a weapon?
No, he legally, every weapon he purchased was legal. So,
Thank you, sir. Thank you. We got to move on now. Appreciate you.
thank you.
All right, so moving into the next phase of our brief here, Sergeant Tony De La Cerda will step forward and translate what you just heard into Spanish. So give us just a second, and he will begin.
Buenas tardes, soy el sargento de la Cerda con el Departamento de Seguridad Pública de Texas. Lo que dijo el jefe del Departamento de Policías de Allen, cuando esta comunidad fue atacada en el 6 de mayo, el Departamento de Policía respondió junto con otras agencias de policía y cuerpos de bomberos. La comunidad también respondió y apoyaron a las víctimas, sus familias y el público. Estamos muy agradecidos y les damos las gracias. Un policía de Allen se distinguió en una manera ejemplar, demostrando tremenda valentía cuando inmediatamente se dirigió al atacante que lastimaba y asesinaba víctimas inocentes y lo neutralizó. Sabemos que la comunidad quiere darles las gracias, pero en estos momentos no podemos dar a conocer el nombre del oficial porque la investigación aún continúa. También hubo muchas acciones heroicas por nuestros policías y departamento de bomberos. Gracias a la asistencia de todas las agencias involucradas, hemos concluido las acciones en el Allen Premium Outlets y hemos devolvido la propiedad a sus administrativos. Los miembros del Departamento de Policía de Allen y la Unidad de Servicios de Víctimas del FBI, Departamento de Seguridad Pública de Texas y la Fiscalía del Condado de Collin seguirán trabajando con los miembros de la comunidad. Le quiero pedir a los miembros de la prensa que continúen publicando los servicios a las víctimas y esos servicios están disponibles en el sitio de web de la ciudad de Allen. El FBI ha dedicado sus recursos para asistir con la investigación. El FBI está analizando los dispositivos electrónicos conectados con el sospechoso. El equipo de respuesta de servicios a víctimas del FBI ha desplegado a sus recursos para colaborar con el Departamento de Policía de Allen, el Departamento de Seguridad Pública de Texas y otras organizaciones del Estado y comunitarias para poder asistir a esos impactados por esta tragedia. Si usted estuvo presente en el Allen Premium Outlets el sábado, sus pertenencias estarán en el Centro de Asistencia Familiar en el Centro de Recreación para Mayores de Allen. Les pedimos que respeten la privacidad de las víctimas. También seguimos buscando información del público. Si usted tiene información, por favor llame al 1-800-CALL-FBI. Entendemos que muchas personas han estado esperando escuchar los detalles del tiroteo en Allen Premium Outlets y han cuestionado por qué no se ha publicado más información. Con decencia y respeto por todos los afectados, no nos apresuramos a divulgar información porque tomó la mayor parte de los últimos 2 días para identificar positivamente a todas las víctimas. No queríamos que estas familias en duelo se sintieran abrumadas en los primeros momentos de sus pérdidas. Estamos con el Departamento de Policía de Allen, la ciudad de Allen y todas las personas afectadas por este acto de cobardía y maldad. En estos momentos yo no voy a contestar preguntas. Nuestros pensamientos y oraciones continúan estando siempre con todos los que han visto tan gravemente afectados por esta terrible tragedia. Muchas gracias.
Thank you all very much for attending. This concludes our brief, and we will continue to update you as the investigation progresses. Thank you all.
Will Dupree back here in the KXAN Live studio as we conclude showing you that news conference from Allen, Texas, where not only local police, but the Texas Department of Public Safety and the FBI have all shared some new information about that shooting that happened on Saturday evening in Allen at the Allen Premium Outlets. 8 people died in that shooting. We now know that the police are not yet releasing the name of the police officer from their local department that came to the scene there and shot and killed the gunman in this situation. We're also hearing that the gunman here, they're going through many of his electronics and other personal effects to try to find some sort of motivation for this shooting. They did say, though, that he had 8 guns with him on the day of the shooting, 3 on his person, 5 in his vehicle, and all 8 of those had been legally purchased. DPS said a few moments ago that all 8 weapons found on the shooter had been legally purchased. They also shared that the mall there in Allen, which is a popular destination for North Texas and the Dallas area, has now been cleared as a crime scene and has been returned to the management there at Allen Premium Outlets. It's unclear when it might reopen or what will happen with the property going forward, so we'll have to follow up on that. And again, this is the first public update on this shooting since the Saturday event happened. Texas DPS sharing those details today. We will have more information about this on our website, kxan.com, as well as on the KXAN News mobile app, so I hope that you'll follow along as we continue reporting about this awful tragedy there in North Texas. Thank you all again for watching. I'm Will Dupree in the KXAN Live studio. We'll see you back here at another time. Hope you all stay safe and healthy. Take care.